Nam yo ho ning ge cho 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 nam yo ho ning ge.
I'm Margaret, and this is the website where we take Buddhist philosophy and practice and apply it to the problems of everyday life. And today, we're going to be discussing mastering the mind. Quote, in case you haven't noticed, you have a mental dialogue going on inside your head that never stops. It just keeps going and going. Have you ever wondered why it talks in there? How it decides what to say and when to say it? How much of it, what it says turns out to be true? How much of what it says is important? Right now, if you're hearing, I don't know what you're talking about, I don't have a voice inside my head, that's the voice we're talking about. If you're smart, you'll take a step back, examine this voice, and get to know it better. The problem is, you're too close to be objective. That was written by Michael A. Singer in a book called The Untethered Soul. Now, we all have that voice. So why is it important to get to know it? I became involved with this topic when I started getting emails on my website for new people that were written by practitioners, some of them long-term practitioners, who were struggling with serious problems and unable to produce the results they needed to resolve their issues. When you put a problem like that in front of a former therapist, I'm a former therapist, I absolutely couldn't resist. I became fascinated by the question, why do some people get good results from the practice and others don't? I wanted to be able to help the members who were struggling. And so began what's become a 4-year study of our Buddhist literature. When we're newcomers, we're told that our thoughts don't matter. Just let what happens, happen. But as you practice over the years, you begin to notice how your thinking and your results are connected. You learn about 3,000 realms in a moment of life, that whatever we're thinking will produce like results. For example, Faith into Action, Ikeda says, quote, in accordance with the principle of 3,000 realms in a single moment of life, pessimistic thoughts or feelings take form just as they are in reality, producing negative results. People who have negative thoughts create effects for themselves that perfectly match their thinking. So it's important to be positive. That's from Faith into Action. In the Clear Mirror Guidance, Ikeda says, quote, there may be times, for instance, when you feel reluctant to do Ganyo or to take part in activities. That state of mind is precisely reflected on the entire universe, as on the surface of a clear mirror. The heavenly deities will then also feel reluctant to play their part, and they will naturally fail to exert their full power of protection. On the other hand, when you joyfully do Ganyo and carry out activities with a determination to accumulate more good fortune in your life, the heavenly deities will be delighted and will valiantly perform their duty. From my dear friends in America. Then we learn about the oneness of self and the environment, and learn that the causes that we're making today will show up in our future. We learn that our karma is created by our thoughts and action, and that a cause made today will produce a future-like effect. Ikeda shows how thoughts create our future. He says, quote, everything depends on what's in our hearts. Heartfelt prayers will definitely be answered. But if we decide something's impossible, then consistent with our minds thinking so, even possible things will become impossible. From Faith into Action. Then continuing in the Clear Mirror Guidance, he says, if you practice reluctantly with a sense that it's a waste of time, disbelief and complaints will erode your good fortune. If you continue to practice in this way, you will not experience remarkable benefits, and this will only serve to further convince you that your practice is in vain. This is a vicious circle. Then he says, but if you practice faith while doubting its effect, you will get results that are at best unsatisfactory. This is the reflection of your own weak faith on the mirror of the cosmos. On the other hand, when you stand up with strong confidence, you will accrue limitless blessings. In the Clear Mirror Guidance, Cicada discusses the importance of knowing this voice and being aware of it. He says that understanding the subtle workings of one's mind is the key to faith and to attaining Buddhahood in this lifetime. However, if we're too close to be objective, how can we become more aware, and what do we do about it? When you ask this question, you've embarked on the journey to master your mind. When you're sitting in front of the Gohonzon, you might drift and not really notice what you're thinking. But at some point, you're going to focus and notice what's going on. So just notice what you're noticing. You are the observer. You are not your thoughts. The thoughts are just the contents of your mind. Casual thoughts that drift in and out and have no energy behind them are not the kinds of thoughts that can produce results. But if you hold on to a thought or belief, dwell on it, and give it lots of energy, then you're creating a cause for the future. When, as a result of noticing, you become aware of what you're thinking and you find it's worry, doubt, or disbelief, let it go and turn your attention back to what you want. You may have to do this over and over, both in front of the Gohonzon and outside, and ask yourself, what do I want to produce? What I want or what I don't want? A person who's very attached to their beliefs might say, how can I possibly do this when this is what I believe? Our beliefs seem so right. And they often prove out in our experience. And of course they do. That is the law of cause and effect in action. So then the question has to become, are these beliefs, are these thoughts working for you? Since we control our beliefs and decide what we are or are not going to believe, they don't control us. You can claim them and hold on to them and give them energy, or you can treat these thoughts as any other casual thoughts and just let them drift by. If you hold on to them and give them energy, they become your prayer. Do you really want to project worry, doubt, and disbelief to the universe? Then Cicada says, quote, while controlling your mind, which is at once both extremely subtle and solemnly profound, you should strive to elevate your faith with freshness and vigor. When you do so, both your life and your surroundings will open wide before you, and every action you take will become a source of benefit. Once you start observing what thoughts you're giving energy to, and then you start asking, what if I could deliberately project a vision of what I want and clean up the thoughts that are taking it in the wrong direction? Then you've become taking control of your life. Fortunately, with what we're taught in Buddhism, we're learning the invisible laws that influence our results with 3,000 realms, oneness of self and environment, and the law of cause and effect. They operate just as infallibly as the law of gravity. And once we understand what they are, we can turn them to our advantage on purpose by choosing to think differently. But awareness is the first step, and noticing what you're noticing brings what you're doing to your attention. Here are some related vlogs that I think that you might find interesting. Know what you can do if you're battling doubts. Know why it's important to master your mind. And do you know why your attitude is important while chanting? And again, thank you so much for your comments and for your suggestions for topics. I'll try and get to them in the order that I get them. And so I'll be back with you again the first Thursday of October.